career coach for Goodwill Career Solutions. And today we're going to be going over exploring jobs online and applying for work. Everybody pretty good on look for jobs online and such? Yeah. The kitty cat, yeah, right? A lot of things are different, a lot of things are changed. What it is that whenever it comes to going exploring jobs online, some people find it easy, some people find it a challenge, right? You don't have to do the phone and all that stuff. You just
I'm just filling in my phone number.
yeah, just because I put you up on the computer. Thank you, Alvin. Don't walk off without giving me these, okay? Because I'm the worst on leaving these things behind. All right, but we're going to start. It's going to be pretty basic stuff, but it's going to be very informative. Way I run classes, it's pretty much we work together. It's interactive. Robin knows, she's been in a few of my classes already. Don't be afraid. If you have any questions, just say something. If you need anything, come on in. There you are.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm gonna have you do one of these if you don't mind.
Okay.
And that's yours to take home with you.
All right, thank you.
Come on, want to have some?
I thought it was coffee, but it's from that machine. I was wanting some coffee, but it was from, I thought it was in here.
I'm sure we'll find something. And what it is today, we're going to be going over exploring jobs online and applying for work. There's all different types of ways of doing it, and here's some of the objectives we're going to learn today. Identifying negative multiple online job search engines. Does anybody know what that means?
Sure. Indeed, LinkedIn.
Well, right, but negative. There's a lot of phishing schemes out there. And what they do is, I don't know if anybody's ever applied for a job and all of a sudden it asks you, would you like to go to Tennessee Tech? It's like, what's this got to do? I'm applying for a job. That's them phishing, okay? And of course, using filters and options for job searches, knowing the guidelines and tips for filling out job applications, and understanding how and filling out each section of the job application, okay? It seems pretty straightforward. A lot of us, I've applied for jobs, I have no problem. Things are changing out there. What they're looking for is a thing called an algorithm. Anybody know what that means? An algorithm is, say, somebody yell out a job that you'd like to do. Anybody? Just say a job.
A job that I like to do?
Yeah, what would you like to do?
I would like to work at somewhere with a desk, like with computers and stuff.
Okay.
But if not that, fast food or cashier, cook at a restaurant.
Let's say a receptionist.
Okay. Yes.
Say you're applying for a receptionist job for, say, a dentistry, okay? And you look at everything and you're like, oh, I fit every one of these descriptions. But whenever you fill out your resume and when you go online and you're filling in everything they're asking, you'll notice that it's going to ask what job reflects what your knowledge is or what you've done before that would, be perfect fit for this job, right? And if you don't have a job, just say, yeah, I worked at Hardee's. Your algorithm isn't matching what the criteria is. Follow me? And what you'll do is think of like a little pipeline. Your resume goes in there and your application, it goes into a room. And then what happens is it doesn't leave that room and go to the hired manager.
Right.
It just stays in there.
Because you were supposed to be putting like a job where you had sat at a desk before, right?
Right.
Typing in it. Okay.
And same with resumes. You do not make a one-fits-all resume. Each resume can, Robin's been through my class, she knows there's different types of resumes and how they work and how you make that resume and you tailor it around the job that you're going for, okay? Show the benefits, the skills, and everything for that position. Make sense? And that's what they're looking at here. See, on this screen here, can you guys spot the scan? Left or right? Left side? You sure? You are correct. It is. You can see where the scams are. You can see where it's trying to manipulate you and move you. On the right is more of your Indeed style. Again, always verify and vet every job you're applying for on Indeed or, DuckDuckGo or wherever you go, for looking for jobs. Look at their website and verify that they are hiring for that position. If you don't want to set up an Indeed account and all that stuff, go on their website and apply right off their website because you know it's legit. Sometimes Indeed will put a job that's out there that's already been filled. Make sure you set your parameters on Indeed for 7 days. If you do more than that, you may not pay attention to it. It may say active for 30 days. An administrative assistant, front desk clerk. Do you think they might have that filled by now? Very much. Okay? So the best thing you could do is making sure that you are aware of job scams. Reach, the company located on the map, find out the job postings, of course, like I said, on their website. Do it. Indeed, they'll have the actual company where you can click on it and it'll take you to their site. If not, physically go and look it up on their site itself through Google or whatever platform you use. Things to avoid: get rich quick schemes. I did get that email about my grandfather from Dubai that's giving me $30 million if I send them $1,900, right?
Yeah.
Man, I can make $30 million right now if I send it to them.
No.
Right, don't do it, right? The ones where they're be careful, the ones that are showing on Indeed and stuff, where, unless you vet it, throughout Tennessee. Anyway, hold on, it's a job supposed to be local, but it's throughout Tennessee. Be careful, right? Never provide a bank account information. Okay, folks, don't do it. Credit card, bank account, anything, at any time. Unless they are doing, they've hired you on and you're ready to start work and you're at the office or wherever you're going and they need to set you up for direct deposit or something of that form. Never, ever do that. All right. Exploring jobs online, identifying the negative multiple online job search engines, and again, using filters for job search engines to refine your job results, right? So, has anybody ever used any of these that are on the screen?
I've used Jobs for Tennessee.
Jobs for Tennessee is a Tennessee vetted job. It's a great place. Okay, you notice I'm using vetted a lot. What it is you want to verify that job is legit, that you're not sharing your information to the Chinese, Russians, or whatever, right? Or to other organizations that are wanting to send you spam mail, right? That's huge. Utilize these. These are the ones that I use. These are the ones that I stand behind. And you notice Google, and you're like, wait, hold on, job search on Google. Search companies. Like if you hear the TTI in town here is hiring, you can go on Google and look up TTI and go on their website. Utilize all the search engines you can do, right? Like it's showing on Google, jobs near me. Manage, job updates. Keep in touch with what you're applying for, right? So also help them find jobs, right? Here is a basic layout through job search, right? So for Kathy, she's saying interested in a job in a call center, industry, healthcare, such and so on is what they're putting on there, right? Is she applying for a job or is that somebody looking for a job? Or looking to hire somebody?
Looking for a job.
She's looking for a job?
Yeah.
All right, good reading. She is looking for a job. She's putting that out there. Who knows? There's a lot of people who here uses like Facebook and social media. One person?
Facebook is a whole
I hate social media.
Facebook is the old ladies.
Yeah, it is.
That's what they
Wow,
tell me, only
okay.
old ladies use that.
But there are people that actually use Facebooks and social media to put out something like this where it gets along and people can pick it up, right? They'll send it out through the community. What about this one?
What are you asking now? What was it?
I mean, is this somebody looking for a job or someone that's looking to hire somebody?
Oh, this is for someone who's wanting to hire someone.
This one is they're looking for a job, right? But
Oh,
when it comes to the skills and stuff, does that match the job description he's looking for? It does?
Pretty well.
Well, it says custodian and skills are cleaning and maintenance. And the experience is 2 years in custodial.
Time management, basic repairs. So if someone was offering him, or he went online to look for a custodial job, this, when it comes to skills and experience, would be that algorithm. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what they're looking for. Things are different now. More job searches are online than paper. I very rarely ever see anybody fill out a piece of paper nowadays and turn it in as a, application. Is anybody here seen anything recently like that? You have? Where?
That's generally what I do, catering. I've seen different places. That's every job I've ever got, it's been paper.
Really?
Talk to a person.
And you do catering?
No, that's what I was looking at.
Looking for catering jobs?
I was just looking into stuff.
Catering job's a great job. Matter of fact, a few months ago, I saw there was one they were hiring for caterers. It was a pretty good job, pretty decent pay. Do you have a background in that?
No, but I've done various other things, so
Okay,
just thought I'd give it a try maybe.
it's gotta be awesome, because yeah, you're big events and you never know who you can meet. Networking, I love that, that's a word, I like that word.
Random question.
Yeah.
Maybe for another time, but what about going over cover letters?
I can go over that with you as well.
Okay,
You
just
can come and see me.
Okay.
Okay. Now, researching options, again, right here is a few areas where you can research different jobs. My favorite of all time is Glassdoor. Has anybody ever used Glassdoor?
Never heard of it.
Glassdoor is outstanding. Okay, Glassdoor, what it does is it will give a rating on a job. Okay, say that there's a job at a catering company that you're interested in. Okay, let's say Tom's Catering, right? You want to make sure it's legit. You went on their website and everything, but you're just not quite sure of how that job is. They're always hiring somebody. I'm sure you've seen that. So what you do is you go on Glassdoor and you look up Tom's Catering. And it will show what their score is. If out of 5 they get a 2 or a 1 or something like that, read down on the comments. Now, I teach people this all the time and I use it myself. Has anybody been seen a new movie lately? Any new movie? What's the most recent movie you've seen?
I saw Mickey 17.
Okay, how'd you feel about it?
I thought it was okay.
You thought it was okay. Now, what's it about?
It's about like this guy who can be remanufactured each time he dies.
Okay, so anybody like those kind of movies? When they die, they get put back in to life again and so anybody like those? Right? I saw a shoulder shrudge. See the difference? 3 liked them, 4 was and 2 were right? Whenever you're going through ONET, online, salary.com, or Glassdoor, do not look and say, okay, the first person said, oh gosh, management's horrible. Oh, I'm not gonna apply for that. I don't wanna work there. It's opinions, okay? Everybody has an opinion. What you're looking for is consistency. The manager was mean. The manager stopped caring about me. The manager touched me inappropriately. Manager just did not act like I was around. there's your consistency, right? Unless you're applying for a manager job, then you can take those roles. Just kidding, don't do that. But the thing is, look for those consistencies. Do not fall on as soon as you see the worst bad rating. Because remember, employees will give negative ratings just because they're mad, out of emotion, right? Look for things that aren't emotional responses. That will tell you. Make sense? I'll tell you straight up right now, Goodwill, the stores, all of them, all over, United States, have a really low rating to work there. I've been there 3.5 years. Amazing company. They really care about their employees when it comes to the retail side. They really do. They have parties for them. They do all this. I'm sitting there going, I don't see it. And I've worked retail before, and I've been corporate retail. And
Well, isn't it that a lot of disgruntled people are the ones who go in and put comments?
they put negative comments due to emotions. Emotions lead to wars. Emotions get you nowhere. Because we've all been there. Well, I feel like I'm being treated very poorly and I'm just not happy, and forget it, and when you're not really. Just because somebody said no to you, right? Don't live off emotions, live off facts. And that's what I'm saying. Look for consistency in what they're saying. Make sense? Any questions on that?
I wanted the ONET. I used ONET before, but that was to look up like samples of jobs and what kind of
Right.
education you needed or something like that.
We also offer ONET for clients to see where their strengths and weaknesses are as well. Anytime you want, go on onet.com. It's free. When you get on their site, it'll be the far right. It'll be in purple, and it'll ask you to do a little quiz. And you just hit the dots, and at the end, it will give you a layout of where your strengths and weaknesses are. It's really good because you may think that catering. Man, I'm telling you what, I would love catering to death. I love handing out people food and also, snacks and tasty stuff. But when you actually do an ONET, you may find that it's not your strengths.
It may not be, it may just be temporary.
It may be a temporary thing. Kind of like whenever you're in school and you wanted to be in the band and you wanted to try flute, and then after a month or so, you're like, I hate flute, right? Make sure it's the right fit, okay? And that's the same thing I always tell people whenever they're going in for an interview. You're not there to be interviewed only, you're there to interview them. Okay? You're there to interview them as well. Because I've had interviews where I've interviewed for a very good job, and and it was 5 interviews. The first 4, the people loved me to death. I loved them too. They were great. It was great interviews. The last interview, the person that was interviewing me, that would have been my boss, didn't even pay attention to me on the screen. It was a Zoom interview. She'd get up, walk around, do stuff, and talk to me, and then throw me softball questions that I've been asked 2 interviews ago. And I had to say, well, you do understand this is an interview, right? And she'd lean down, look at the camera, and I was like, yeah, this is not a right fit for me. I appreciate it. No, I'd hang up. You have to make sure it's right. The job may be perfect, the location may be perfect, the pay may be perfect, but the person you're gonna be working for may not fit. Move on. There's somebody else, okay? Applying for work, right? Applying for work, knowing the guidelines and tips and filling out a job application, understanding and filling out each section of the job application. How many people have missed steps before when they're filling out applications? One honest person. How about anybody else? You can raise your hand.
Yeah.
It's okay. I don't throw things that hard. But yeah, honestly, we've all missed it every once in a while. We're like, oh, I meant to put down this skill. I meant to put down this job, or I meant to do this, right? It's afterthought. It's the same thing as what we're talking about in the thing here is, which emoji relates to your feelings about filling out job applications. What do you guys think?
Me, it's number 8.
Number 8 is the, do I have to do it, right?
Yeah.
What's everybody else saying? You're number 8 too? Okay.
Depends on what I'm filling out and how much I want to, get that.
I think applications like I gave you guys, again, don't walk off if I've given you this, make sure I get these before you leave. It's 1 page. You see, if this was this, you'd be like, I'm filling out a job interview. I mean, a house, I'm buying a house or a car, I'm filling out like 90 pieces of paper, right? And that's where you'd go and you'd be at number 5 going, oh, right? Me, I don't mind doing applications. I don't like it whenever they ask redundant questions.
That's what I was gonna say, I'd be like number 6, why do I have to answer this one
Yeah,
again?
it's like, what is,
Yeah.
what?
Why does it, same question, just verbalized a little differently?
Right,
It's a trick,
Why?
exactly.
it's a trap.
And anytime, has anybody ever done those little quiz things that where you have to go and hit the little circles, it says, have you ever stolen from a company? And then later down it says, have you ever taken anything from the company? And it's one of those, it's a psychological ones,
Yeah.
2 people.
Yes.
Have you ever done it?
Mhm.
Okay. Those are there, like you said, that's psychology. It's a psychology exam. That's all it is. There's no wrong answer, but it can determine if you get the job. Because they'll actually look when you say, have you ever stolen from a company? No. And it goes way down, number 100. Have you ever taken a pen or a piece of paper that you're not supposed to take away from a company? Yeah, sometimes I end up walking home with a pen. But that makes you look like a liar because it's not consistent. Be careful. Take your time. Read each question, right? Then and now. This is going to be contradictory to you because you and your paper application people, right? Paper applications are then. Paper resumes are still a now, okay? They're still a thing, but online is better, right? Snail mail. Anybody know what snail mail means? That's just regular mail, right? Personal visits. And, sending by fax. Nope. Has anybody ever used faxes anymore, Spencer? Anybody? Oh, yeah, right? The personal visit is when you just walk in. Now, I always suggest whenever my clients go and they fill an application online, to go and show your face and let them know that you filled an application. It's called squeaky wheel concept, right? Let them know that you're interested. Now, online job searches, right? Online applications. A lot of people aren't great with computers. They're not good with navigation. That's where there should be classes. We offer classes, but there's other classes throughout the community if we don't have anything open. Email attachments. Being able to work their email efficiently and be able to respond back to emails. Copy and pasting, okay? And uploading.
That's
like
the one I
documents.
have trouble with.
Uploading documents, right? And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll upload something, but they don't verify that the document's been uploaded. They'll just hit send, and actually it's still downloading, and when you send it, it just partially gets there, and then people are like, what is this? What the, right? Resumes come from a corporate retail background. If you write me a 5-page letter, guess how much I'm gonna read?
First page.
Not even the first page.
Paragraph.
Because I'm gonna pick it up, I'm going, they wrote me a book. They gave me a book. I'm not very interested in this. Now, that depends. Now, some corporate level jobs require a lot of background in a lot of different areas, right? If you are going to be a caterer or retail or something, a lot of times it's basic. It's just to the point. This is what I've done, this is what my skills are, and this is what I offer your company. Okay? 1 page is the best, if you can. If you can't, 2 at the max, but don't go too far. Okay? When people, employers are looking at applications, they will know within the first 30 to 60 seconds that they want to hire you, or if they want to continue reading. That's why you need to make sure your skills are up near the top, and then employment. because they need to see your skills. Okay? Now, also tell us about your job search, right? Compliance, you know, is it complicated, difficult, how many per week, tips and such and so on, right? These are things that you need to make sure that you're writing down. What worked, what didn't work. I got a response when I did this, but I did not do a response when I did that. Okay? Jumping through hoops. Employers look for a reason not to hire you. Has anybody heard that before?
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel?
Bad.
Oh yeah.
Well, especially if there's like 100 applications, they're looking for a way to weed out, right? Like you were saying, too lengthy, too messy, too,
They're
whatever.
looking for spelling errors, and they're looking for grammatical errors. They're looking for all these things.
And
in
you
a
have to
book.
assume like 100 other people have put in that same application.
It's part of being a manager. It doesn't matter if you did 1,000. The thing is though, they need, you know, you need to be to the point, and it needs to be, well, they want to continue to read, right? See, long length of time, application, you know, restrictions, stuff like that. You can see here how it all works out when it comes to the application process, right? Questions. You may have something on there where they'll contact you and they'll say, hey, I've got your resume, but I've got a question. And when again did you work for a catering company? Sorry to keep using catering. You just, and you say, oh yeah, I did a little bit, but it was more of a family catering kind of situation. So, oh, okay, cool. All right. We'll be in touch, or something like that. Or can you come in? Because you're answering their questions, right? So, you know, common application mistakes, right? Misreading instructions. How many people knew that kid in school and the teacher said, put your name in the top right corner?
We didn't know that.
Yeah. I see smiles and laughs out of it. They don't want to say, yeah, it was that kid. I know.
Well, like your little application, I didn't look ahead, so I put both names in the first little thing instead of my last name over here.
Would you have got the job?
No.
There you go. At least you're being honest, right? But if you had some skills and stuff that I had questions, I'd probably have somebody contact you and say, I've seen your resume where you had this skill that matches what we're looking for. You know, can you come in for an interview? And then I want to hear from you these things, right? Dishonesty, if ever, you know, who here has lied on an application before? Yeah, I'm one honest
I think we all
person.
have it,
Two.
one or another.
What's your name again?
Marie,
Marie. Have you?
no.
Liar. You're fired. I'm just kidding. No, well, there's times whenever you want to make yourself sound a little better, but not egotistical. Like, I'm great with time management. Who here is great time management?
I'm getting it.
Okay.
Trying to.
Right. Time management. You were the latest person. I wouldn't talk about time management.
Do what now?
You were the
Oh,
latest
I know.
person.
I'm sorry.
Don't give me that. I know you're supposed to be here all day
I'm
till 4.
sorry.
So don't
I'm
give me
sorry.
that. Nope.
Okay.
You're fired.
All right.
Just kidding.
I
but-
believe.
It's little things that if you put down, I'm great with time management, or I learn quickly, and you actually don't learn that quick, but you pick up things kind of quick, but you're not great at it. Be careful, because they're gonna put you that test. I know I've done that, okay? They will see your application, your resume, and guess what? That's going to be an interview, right? Not providing all required attachments, okay? Like if they ask for certain things, not attaching everything to it, right? Spelling and grammatical errors, like I said. Take your time. Now, if you're not great at that, and you do make mistakes every once in a while, there's a program that's free, or you can pay for it. It's called Grammarly. Get it. Get the program Grammarly. Okay? It's free, but you can also pay for it too. But it will help you clean up anything that you might be a fat-fingered on or whatever. And to your brain, it looks good, but you know, application should not have 2 C's or 3 C's or 5 C's or 12 C's, right? Or because you get fat-fingered because you're typing so fast, you know, right?
Mhm.
So, be thorough, complete in all fields. What does that mean? Complete all fields.
Don't leave anything blank. Don't leave anything blank.
Don't leave anything blank if you can, right? Because they're gonna see that, right? It's there for a reason. It's on the application for a reason, right? Dates, numbers, addresses, right? Do not leave blanks. Use NA if field doesn't apply. Do not put none. Or just leave it blank. And if, someone looks at your application, I saw where you left this blank. Why, do you know why you left that blank?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because it doesn't, attend to me. It doesn't have nothing to do with me. Put NA, okay?
Could you say again what you meant by create a cheat sheet?
Create a cheat sheet. You can do that. You can actually create a cheat sheet. What you do is you write down all the things that you need on a resume.
Oh, things to keep, so dates, numbers,
Or
and
applications.
addresses that they may be asking on every application. or
Right.
something.
And same with your resume. If there's certain things that you can't remember, I've had clients come in and say, well, I don't remember when I worked at a certain job. I think it was here to here. I said, okay, guess as close as you can. Was it warm outside? Was it cold? What were you doing around that time? Were you living in Texas? Were you living in Tennessee? Where were you living around that time? Well, I was in Texas at that time. Okay. What was the weather like? Or what movie was that? Certain things that kick your brain in, right? And then you can get somewhere around that. Okay? Make sense? Use correct punctuation and spelling. Again, get Grammarly. Okay? Answer the tough questions. We've all sitting there going, oh God, and that's where that your emoji go. Right? Reason for leaving. What are some good ones? I want to hear from each one.
New job? No, new job?
New job? What do you think?
That's a good reason.
What would you usually use? You're
That's
part of this
one-
class. You're
Well,
going to be
that's
called
one
out.
of them, I'm just, that's
Okay.
one of them.
To find a new
Get
job?
Yeah, I mean,
fired? Is that-
Okay,
I mean,
A
if
reason
you
for
got
leaving.
one, why you left, well, never.
go ahead. You're right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You heard.
Bad attitude?
Yeah. No.
Bad
That would
attitude?
not be a good reason.
Don't put down bad attitude.
Oh, well, yeah, I thought you was trying to be honest. Okay, I got you.
You're fired twice.
We're on your back. Well, maybe her manager had a bad attitude.
But you don't put that down.
Yeah.
Put that down if you're expected.
So what do
You
you
put
think?
like, did not mesh with management style.
Never. Never put that.
That means.
Never put that. Resigned, terminated, and explain in interview. Will explain in interview. Why, or left, will explain in interview. You do not want me, you remember that little picture they had up there that said management or people hiring people or finding reasons not to hire you? You put the wrong thing there. That's the reason. They didn't have to work hard. You already did it for yourself, right? The thing is, explain, I will explain in interview, right? I like using, say if you're going from one job and there's no growth, but the new job that you're applying for does offer growth. What would you put in that area?
Better opportunity.
Better opportunity of growth, right? More growth opportunities, stuff like that. Because what it is you never ever downplay, badmouth, or say anything negative about previous job. Never. Once you get the job and you've been there for a little bit and your coworkers start asking you, so how'd you like working there? Well, it was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. Don't do that in your interview. Because if you're going to be talking nasty about your job now, what do you think the employer is going to feel if they hire you?
How bad are they gonna be when they leave here?
Right. Criminal backgrounds. If you have a criminal background, you don't have to put it down thoroughly, but let them know. We'll discuss in interview.
Right.
Right? Have success completing all required for a blah, blah, blah charge and change, right? Satisfy the questions. Do not overshare. do not ever, even in an interview, do not overshare. Answer the question. If you don't understand the question, ask. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Can you say the question again? It's okay. Do not overshare. Well, when I was a kid, I went through all that, and then by that time, you hear them, right? Don't be that person, right? So paper applications, what pen do you use?
Blue or black?
Blue or black? And what's the other thing that's underneath it,
Be
BV.
neat.
right? I write like a doctor. Trust me, you don't want to try to read my handwriting sometimes when I get going, right? I've learned to slow myself down a little bit, right? Try to be neat, because if they don't understand what you're putting down,
Goes in the
Next.
trash.
next, okay? Address tough questions. Gaps in your employment. Maybe you worked for a little bit, you may have got married, and you didn't have to work for a while. And then something happened, and now you have to go back to work. Explain that gap. Alright, and that's okay, and those are in the resumes. There's different resumes for that, right?
Hey,
Take-
Deshaun,
Yes.
what if you're like me? I got disability
Mm-hmm.
and I went back to school. I have an associate's degree in medical office management.
Right.
Couldn't get a job.
Well, it's depends on the hours, right?
No, now it doesn't.
Right.
Back then, I would have, for every $2 I earned, I would have lost $1. But that's okay,
Mm-hmm.
cause I'm still not losing anything,
Right.
cause I'm gaining insurance benefits, hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
which, you know,
It all equals itself
it
out
works
somewhere,
itself out.
right? Yeah, so that's where you do that background check on the position or the company you're working for. That's where that really stands out, and that allows you to determine, do I want to work for this company? Will they give me that opportunity? Are they more progressive than I thought, right?
Well, should you disclose a disability at your interview?
Always.
Always.
Never hide a disability. Now, the thing is, there is a Disability Act where they cannot deny you a job because of you if you're disabled. Now, unless you are a pilot and you're blind, you
Then
can't
they
be.
could disqualify you.
Wouldn't the answer be if it applies to the job?
If
So
it-
if there's a disability that they may need to accommodate something, like, I don't know, I can drive, but I need a special van or something like that.
Right,
But, I mean, that would be, you better say something up front.
Right.
But otherwise, I would say you don't wanna talk about, again, that's kind of the oversharing sometimes.
Well-
They're looking for any reason not to hire you.
but you have to be honest. I would rather not be hired and be honest than to lie and get fired, because that happens. If you lie on your application, you lie in your interview, and they find out that it's a lie,
You're
this is,
gone.
Tennessee is a right to work state. They can let you go at any time without even have to give you an explanation.
Yep.
Don't be that person. It's retention is what we're looking for. Stay at a job as long as you can. If you need to get another job, get that job, stay at that job as long as you possibly can as well. A lot of people are understanding about any type of disability, all right? Just make sure that they understand that. In most cases, that's actually on some of the resumes, not resumes, but on the applications itself. Do you have a disability? What is it? And then let them make the decision, right? Application. As you can see, it's pretty basic when you're filling out application. We look at desired salary. Do not put open. Don't be that person that puts open.
How do you decide what to put in there?
Google. Okay,
Other jobs?
Usually in the ad, they'll give you some idea.
some do.
Some do.
But if for any reason it doesn't, Google it, right? A head caterer I'm applying for. What does a head caterer get per hour compared to a standard caterer? Or someone who's just, there to assist the catering? know what your pay scale is and what you're willing to give, right? You may be used to making $17 an hour, but they're offering you $15.50 an hour, but there's tips, and you know you're good at catering. I can make up that $17 really quick, right? So that's where you make that decision on where you want to put that money range. You could put, but don't get too expensive. Say, well, I know I'm getting paid $17 now. The cost of living's going up, so $20 an hour. Guess what they're going to say? We only offer 15. This person, go ahead.
You couldn't put like starting, whatever starting, like what are you expecting? Could you put starting, whatever?
You can on certain jobs, but it's not recommended, because say if they're paying $15 an hour and you put 20 down, you're too expensive. Now, if you've got ridiculous resume, they may call you and say, I want to let you know we do offer $15.50 an hour, but there are tips. And our tip people who make tips usually get, $50 to $100 a night. That's where you do the math in your head, right? That's where you make that decision. Because if you're too expensive, they're going to hire you because they can't afford you. And you would never be happy. Would you be happy making $15 an hour without tips, and when you're used to making 20? No. How long would you stay at that job?
Long enough to find another one.
There you go, if that, right? You'll find every reason not to. Education. Make sure you put down your education, okay? If it's just high school, put down high school. If it's college, associates, or anything else, make sure it is listed. Also, when you're looking at the job online or whatever, it will tell you what is required. But how many people have looked at jobs and they say they need an associate's degree to get this job, and as you read down, it says associate's degree required or 3 years experience in this position. Well, I've got 3 years in that position. Apply. Don't just scroll down, oh, associates, I don't have associates, next. Read down, because you may have qualifications that supersede the college, right? Nowadays, and this is what I'm hearing, is that it's not only college education, it's hands-on experience, it's experience. A lot of college students are finding this out. They have no experience. They went to school to be an engineer, and they're wanting to be an engineer for NASA, and NASA says, do you have any experience in engineering for, space and, and stuff like that? Well, no. Well, we're looking for somebody who has some knowledge of how to do things. Because you don't have the skill, and that sucks when you're young. We've all been there, right? Availability. Unless you have you can't be there for a certain time, or if it's a religious or anything like that, put any day of the week. Open is the best way to do it. Reason why is that you have open availability, that at any time, if they ask you, hey, I know you were off Saturday, can you work Saturday, make some extra money, get some overtime? Sure. That's the way to grow with the company, right? And also get you in the door. Retail, if you do not have open availability, good luck, okay? Now, unless you have a disability or something that's doctor related or something of that form, then they can accommodate. Make sense? Military or volunteer experience. Don't be afraid to get out there and help out. I mean, the food pantries and stuff like that, they love volunteers. Anywhere you can volunteer. Who knows, the library may ask for volunteers for some event or something, okay? That's the kind of thing you want to try to do. Work history. Be honest about your work history. Do not put down that I'm a nuclear physicist when you were a model builder in your basement.
This is both work history and resume. My resume was stolen a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact dates. Could I just put down basically when I think that the order of them and the skills underneath?
It's always newest to oldest
Right.
jobs.
Okay.
And like I said, if you're not quite sure exactly what date that was, try to think back. Take a minute. Think back and say, okay, was it warm or cold outside? What was I doing in that time? You know, oh, I got a brand new Chevy Tahoe or a good used Tahoe. What year was it? When did I get that? And you can look that up. You can actually look, oh, look, I got it in 2014. Okay, it was 2014 when I started. And then I was there for 2 years. Boom, you know what I mean? See how that works? And then make those cheat sheets like she was talking about, those crib notes or whatever, where you can keep that and have that available for yourself. We're not perfect. They're not looking, oh, you're off by a year or a month. We can't hire her. They don't care about that. They want to know how long you've been there. Now,
Those cheat sheets should have your salary too, because who's gonna remember that, unless it was just yesterday.
if it requires a salary, you can guesstimate on that as well, all right, to a point. You want to be as close as you can, right? Now, when it comes to anything with like the dates and stuff like that, if you are, you started McDonald's in 2016, and you ended McDonald's in 2016, and you started Hardee's in 2017, and you ended Hardee's in 2018, and something like, and you're just constantly job to job to job to job. Is that a good thing?
Not necessarily.
What does that show?
Inability to, stability.
Stability and retention. You're not able to retain a job. And guess who's not going to be hired? They will not hire you unless they are looking for a warm body. And then you got to be worried about that.
Now, what about this, may we contact your previous supervisor? What's your
I tell you what, if I was looking for a job today, I'm going to put no. Reason why is they contact my supervisor and he gets mad.
Because you're applying.
There are some supervisors, my current supervisor wouldn't do it, but there are supervisors that will retaliate. And it's against the law, but you have to prove it, but they will retaliate and they'll make your life heck. Or they'll shorten your hours, or they'll get at you. And then, why are you looking for another job? What's wrong? Are you not happy? And then you don't want to go through any of that. You say no. Employers understand that because you don't want animosity at the job in case for any reason that they don't hire you or you don't want to work for them. Make sense? Do not put yes unless you mean it. Do not put down Sally Jones as your manager when it's actually Tom Whittle. You see what I'm saying? And then Sally Jones picked up the phone. Hello, who is this? What's it about? Are you the manager of this? Oh yeah, I am. Don't do that because they find out Tom Whittle's actually your manager, you're out. They'll fire you. They let you go. It's false pretenses, right? Make sense? References. Does anybody know how many references is standard?
3,
Okay, but how many of those 3 are professional?
at least 2.
Exactly. I've done this before. 2 professionals. Now, when it comes to the personal references, would that be like your mom, your dad, your brother or sister?
No,
What would they be?
youth minister, something like that.
Someone that's worked with you or knows you
Oh,
very well. You could use a youth minister
yeah, 2.
because you meet with them on Sundays or Wednesdays or whatever, right? And they know who you are. Use work colleagues. People have worked with you that can say good things. Now, another thing to do too, folks, do not put down Sally Jones and they call Sally Jones. She goes, what's going on? Tell Sally Jones beforehand. I'm going to write you down. So you're going to be a reference for me, okay? You may expect a call from this job, okay? Make sure they know. Because the last thing you want to do, and I've heard this, honestly, where I've called people's references, and they're like, what's this about? Who is this now? I'm like, okay, never mind. I was just checking on such and such individual, yeah, I got what I need. You see what I'm saying? Make sure, are you having to cut out?
Yes, because I have to get on the bus.
I got you.
But
I got your papers.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this because remember I told you I lost my cell phone. Can I bring you the number
Yeah.
to the Goodwill?
Yeah,
Okay,
no
I'll
problem.
stop by Monday and
Sounds good.
and bring it to you.
Sounds
Thank
perfect.
you so much.
We'll see you Monday.
Okay, what am I gonna miss? I mean,
We're
what?
getting close.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
I'm sorry I had to leave early.
I
Thank you,
understand.
though.
I get it.
I'll see you Monday.
Sounds good.
All right.
You know, references are huge. Let them know that you are calling, they're gonna be called, or they could be called. Now, there's times when I've never called a single reference. I just like the conversation, I like the person I interviewed, and I'll offer them a job. Or I'll say, oh, I'll get in touch with you. Okay. Now, one of my huge things is, that you were talking about a minute ago, it was money. All of my corporate jobs that I've worked and management jobs and stuff, when I go in an interview, you always wait to the very end, unless they tell you what you're gonna be making and your hours, right? I always wait to the very end, and they'll ask, well, you have anything else for me? No, sounds like you answered every one of the questions. And I usually get that last minute question. Do you wanna know how much you're getting paid? You know what my response is? And it's funny, I always love to see their face. No. Let me know that when you offer me the job. You know how awesome that is? If I heard that, or if you heard that? No. You know why? It's because I'm there for the job. If I'm always asked, so when do I get paid? How much do I get paid again? When are my days off? When's the
How much
paydays?
sick leave do I get?
How do you feel compared to let me know? Because normally what I do is, when I get another call, that next day or week or whatever, let's talk about money. That's whenever my first answer is, so are you offering me the job? And they usually giggle and they say, yes, I'm offering you the job. Okay, let's talk money. That gives you leverage. Say they say $15 an hour and you need $16.50. They say $15 an hour. Say, is it possible I can get 16 or $16.50? That's so I have that budgeted in. Well, let me see what I can do for you. Or if they say, no, this job requires, it's $15 an hour, but you get this extra pay or drive time or something of that form. And then you say, okay, that's pretty darn close to what I need. Okay, I accept. Make sense?
Would you ever say, I need to think about it?
Yes. Because if you're used to making $17 an hour and they offer you 15, and you're like, okay, I know where I'm at is tough, but I can grow with this job pretty fast. I mean, retail, you can usually grow pretty quick if you're good, hard worker. Would it be worth for me to stay where I'm at and I'm miserable and upset? Or is it worth for me to move to another position? And yes, I may have to start near the bottom because I'm usually about a lead or something like that in my job now, but I can get to a lead within a year and make twice as much money. You see where I'm going with that? Don't burn bridges that you will turn around and go, I should have taken that job, right? But don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't be stupid, right? Don't be the person, I'll take $15 an hour, no problem, because you're angry. Remember, emotions get you nothing. Brain's thinking does. And it's okay to say, can I call you back tomorrow to give you an answer? If they say, I've never heard anybody say no, but sometimes I've heard people say, well, is there any way you can get in touch with me today? That means, you know why? They're wanting to hire you. So you need to say, yeah, give me an hour. Be understanding. Take that time to think about things, get things right in your head. Is it worth for me to go for 15? And don't be that person not to call. You call them. I wanted to let you know, I'm sorry, I gotta have 17, and I know you can't offer 17. Thank you for the opportunity, thank you for the conversation. Leave it positive, because you never know. You never know. Anybody here buy a car before?
Of course.
All right, have you ever been a dealer before, buying a car, and the numbers weren't right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever walked out?
Mm-hmm.
I walked out, I was buying a truck, and they hit me with a number out on the yard. I call it the yard, it's out in the parking lot. And I said, okay, that's where I want to be. When I got inside, they were starting throwing numbers at me, and it was quite a bit higher. I was like, that's not what you're saying. Well, if you want the truck, this is what it's gonna be. I said, okay, fine. I got it and walked out. Before I can get to my door open up in my car, I had one of the managers run out yelling at me. We'll make it work, we'll make it work, we'll make it work. Well, what kind of making it work? That's whenever I'm gonna be in charge, right? I'm gonna make sure I get what I need out of this. If not, there's other cars down the road.
Yep.
Think of that about jobs too, okay? Personality profiles, okay? I don't want to keep
May I
this
ask
over.
a quick random question?
Sure.
Someone I know, not me, but they responded to a job offer. At first, they told them via phone and voice that they were gonna accept it, and then later they decided it wasn't for them and they sent a text. That's never good to send a text.
No.
Decline via text.
Be a person, would you like that?
No, just.
It's like people break up with people through texts,
Right.
right? I've always said jobs are like relationships. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
If you work hard, you're doing everything you can, but the managers, the job, the company just doesn't show you that respect, should you stay there?
Mhm.
What do?
You look for another one, but don't let them know till you have it.
There you go. Right? Because
I've tried to teach my kids that, and at 47, they finally learned,
right,
but when they were younger, and my granddaughter even.
right. And you know, knowing your limits. Not every time you get upset and get emotions, I'm out of here. I'm just leaving. I'm going to quit. I'll find something else. I don't care what it is. Work it through. Make sure you're 100% going in the correct directions, right? I'll make sure it's a positive move, not a negative move. You don't want to be an associate, that's working for a dental and you're, hygienist, and then go work at Hardee's. Make the move worth your while. Make it worth what you already know, what you're comfortable with, because you're not looking for short term just because you want to get away from that. Don't think short term, think long term. Wait for something good to come along. Patience is a virtue, okay? As you saw this, I was going through, these are all different types of personality style tests. This is styles of personality tests. Remember we talked about that? There's no wrong answer, but make sure you're paying attention to what you're reading, because they are throwing in all kinds of zingers, right? You do not want to hear that word bazinga, right? This is huge, folks. When you go home tonight, if you have a computer or whatever, your husband, boyfriends, whatever, family members, take this. It's called 16personalities.com. Take that test. It's an easy test, there's no wrong answer, but be honest. You know how good this thing is? I work every Thursday with UCHRA with their DRC program. That's Drug Recovery Court. Okay? And I have them do this every 3 months, because it shows how they change. I've had some that are real opinionated, and after 3 months later, after going through all the things they're going through, the trainings and stuff, they're no longer opinionated. They're a better person. This will break down, this will analyze your personality, your strongest traits. Okay? Make sense? And you're gonna read it and you're gonna go, holy crap, it's me. If you're honest. If you lie, like, I like when people are mean to me. Sure. You're gonna get a weird reaction. But if you put that heck no, then it's gonna give you, I recommend 16personalities.com. Okay? Now, thanks for attending. We won't do a feedback form or anything like that, but is there any questions or anything you guys have
Just
for
a
me?
random comment.
Sure.
I applied for a job one time via online. It was like a personality, long questions and bubbles that you fill in, and then at the end it told you what they thought you would be good at as far as classifying you for what job in that company.
Right.
That was a little different, just saying.
There are jobs that you apply for that nowadays that AI actually gets involved. And what it does, it will give you scores, like how much you were attentive during the Zoom interview, how you answered the questions, and how your answers were relevant to their questions, and their reactions to your answers. If that's